99% of coaching programs out there don't deliver. Even worse, you've got low ticket memberships, you've got low ticket courses with no accountability. And let's be real, you've probably experienced it. You start excited, you believe this is the thing that will change your business, but 3 months later, you'll start frustrated and worse, questioning yourself. In this video, I'm breaking down why most programs fail you, how they're set up for profit instead of results, and what you actually need to succeed. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Luke Anning. I was a seven-figure growth partner at a 300K a month ClickFunnels award-winning company. I have a top 2% podcast called The Happy Positive Energy Game. I've been coaching for the last 4 years. So that said, the coaching industry is broken. Everyone in this space is optimizing for profit, but not client success. Now, don't get me wrong, a business, the cash flow is the lifeblood of the business for sure. But here's the reality. If you are speaking to somebody and they have no client metrics, they have no accountability, they have no tracking of whether you're actually doing the work or not, they're just selling you on the hype. And this is why the coaching industry gets such a bad name. In one of my other videos, I actually talk about how I ended up investing so much into a different program and what I ended up doing to get past it. So if you do want to go and check that out, link is in the description. The problem is once you're inside with a lot of programs, it's all generic advice and no personalized support. And then they wonder why their clients aren't really excited at the start, but then burn out halfway through. And it's not just about systems or scaling. If you, as a business owner, are dysregulated, constantly overwhelmed, isolated, or questioning yourself, no strategy is going to work. And that's where these programs are failing you. They ignore who you're becoming in the process. So why do so many entrepreneurs start off strong, but then drop off? And here's the thing, it's not your fault. It's the emotional cycle of change. So the emotional cycle of change is a study done by Clark and Kelly around how your emotions perceive over time with goal achievement. And at the start, you're in what's called the uninformed optimism stage. You're excited, you're motivated, and you believe this is your breakthrough. And then what happens is reality starts to hit. You hit informed pessimism, where this stage things get hard, self-doubt creeps in, and most people quit or isolate. And this can't is not necessarily just doing a business program to hit 50K a month. It might be you starting and hiring more people. It might be you bringing in a new team member. It might be you creating a different style of content or opening up a different part of your marketing funnel than you have been normally. It might be delegating a new part of your team. It might be expanding to a new office or expanding to a new city, whatever that is. You start off with all of this excitement, then it's like, oh my gosh, this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. And this is where most programs leave you here to figure it out by yourself. But that's exactly where you need support the most. Because entrepreneurs, especially high performers, are great at pushing through alone. But when we're dysregulated, when there's stress, when there's self-doubt, and when the pressure hits, most of us isolate. And that's when the wheels fall off. So how do we actually fix this? How do we make sure that you're not only starting strong, but stay consistent and actually see results? So what we do is we track what actually matters, your task completion rate. We don't just ask if you're making progress or if you've got wins or, hey, what went well this week and what could have been improved. We actually measure it because every week, if you know, hey, we just did some tasks. We just went, hey, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, we just did some tasks. And then if you didn't get one of them done, then we can analyze what's going on with that particular task. Did you lack clarity? Did you lack direction? Was it a task you should have even been doing yourself and it could have been something you could have delegated? Was it you ran out of time? We can understand what's going on, and these are the root causes that usually fall into all of your other tasks and why you're not doing them. Because if you're not following through on one task, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So there's likely a plethora of other things that you're not following through on because of the same root cause problems. And if you don't approach those root cause problems, then we're not going to fix it. And this is where most programs don't look at what's going on with you. They just say, hey, if you don't have an entrepreneur's mindset, then it's not going to work for you. Or if you're not doing the work, you're lazy, or they try and shame you or try and guilt you, or they say, hey, hop on a group call, like 3, 4 days later when you need a solution as fast as possible. That's why you're paying for the support, right? You need to understand individually why you're not doing each task and then game plan how to actually follow through on those things. That's so key. And you do that by tracking task completion rate, having somebody rate and review that with you weekly. And then that's going to allow you to increase your productivity so you can get more done in less time with the least amount of effort as possible. And think about this. Imagine if you had this tracked. What would be possible for you? What awareness are we now starting to create around the things that you do or don't enjoy? Right? All of these have deeper subconscious wounds around them. And without fixing those deeper subconscious wounds, you're constantly in this spiral. And have a think about this. If you don't do a task and you have an issue with self-worth, you're going to make it about you. You're going to enter into personalization. You're going to isolate yourself and you're going to say, oh, you're an idiot. You should have done that. You're going to get frustrated. Well, you don't need to get frustrated because we just work out, okay, it was just a lack of clarity. Oh, okay, looks like you had way too much scheduled on your time this week for the actual amount of time that you did. Oh, looks like we didn't break this up enough. Oh, looks like you were completely overwhelmed this week and we could have set in a mind dumping task for you to remove the overwhelm, right? There's so many things that we could have done. But if a company doesn't track task completion rate and you're not getting done the things that you need to be doing to be successful, then of course it's not going to work, right? Now, the second thing here is weekly one-to-one calls. Now, for us, every single client gets a weekly one-to-one call, no exceptions, because at the top period of it, accountability isn't a nice to have, it's a necessity. And this isn't about just checking a box, it's about adapting to your needs and keeping you aligned with your goals. You can't just have someone check in with you on a Monday and say, hey, how can I support you this week? There needs to be set check-ins and set deadlines. And most people don't do this because they haven't done it for themselves. For me, my first ever fitness coach, this was way back, very high level coach. And the amount of variables that we had to track were a lot. We had to track exactly what our progress was with each and every weight. We had to send every single video that we were working out in. We had to send every single time we were going to the gym. How did we feel? How were we feeling at the gym? How much energy do we have in the day? How hydrated was I? What time did I go to the gym? What time did I wake up, go to sleep? What was the quality of that? Or how was my quality of digestion? There were so many different metrics, client success metrics that we tracked. And that allowed my coach, as the high level coach he was, when he did his one-to-one check-ins with me, he was able to say, hey, I suggest you doing this week. Hey, I suggest you doing this week. And I feel like in the coaching space, there's been this like loss of having a close client success coach or close knit accountability or close knit personalization. And that's why people fall off. And yeah, like sometimes the check-in is just saying, hey, you just need to do more of what you're doing. You're not doing enough. Like sometimes it is that. Sometimes it is that tough love. But if you only have like a few group calls to hop in on, there's 50 odd people on a call and you only get 2 minutes to speak, it's not going to work. Like you still need to have a one-to-one person, whether that's with the coach themselves or a trained team member. And they don't need to be 2 hour long check-ins. And I think it's important to mention, like, you can't rely on the coach to do the work for you. You still got to do the work in between things. But if you do the first thing that I said, track task completion rate, then have a one-to-one check-in where you have a deadline where you actually go through what was the completion rate and what things got done, what things didn't, then you have a route forward to go. So that's the next step. The next thing that you need to do is, I don't know where this has been lost, but focusing on who you are actually becoming. If we look at most programs focusing on tasks, systems, strategy, that stuff is valid. But you need to focus on who you're becoming because that translates to every area of your life and your business. Because at the top, if we look at Dilts' neurological index, we've got spirituality and your purpose, your reason for being here. We've got your identity, who you're becoming. That shifts your beliefs and your values. That shifts your capabilities and your skills, which are the things you're working on as you do your strategy. And then that shifts how you operate your behavior, and that shifts your environment. But you can't just change your behavior if your identity is not in alignment with the behavior of the person that you need to be to grow here. So you need to focus on who you're becoming. And some of the questions that are going to help you with that, just listening to this video, are why do you do what you do? Who do you need to become? Where is the gap in skill sets? Maybe that's time management, task management, energy management. Maybe that's emotional regulation. Maybe that's mindset. Maybe that's leading yourself so you can lead other people. Leadership here. Leadership isn't just for other people, it's for yourself as well. Maybe there is a little bit of strategy there. But ultimately, it doesn't matter if you've got the perfect strategy ahead of you. That's why in another one of my videos, I said it doesn't matter if you've got a VSL funnel or a follower funnel or an email marketing funnel or a content funnel. It doesn't matter which one you have. Because if you're not the person that you need to be to show up and do those things, it means nothing. And maybe you're already an action taker, and that's fine. But maybe you're still dotting around and trying to do all these different things. So maybe one of the focuses for you on who you're becoming is how to stay on track with what's working and feel safe in momentum. Because a lot of that causes a mess where people self-sabotage as well. And its root cause is if you're not being the person that you need to be, it's because you're self-sabotaging. So you need to focus on who you're becoming. So those are the three things that you actually need. So if you're tired of being let down by cookie cutter programs, what I recommend you do is subscribe for more no bullshit information like this. And if this resonated, I would say it's time for you to stop settling, stop allowing other programs to get in your way. And the video that I would recommend that you watch is my YouTube video on how I invested $100,000 into coaching programs, got burned, and how I overcame it, which I will link somewhere around here. So with that said, I will see you in the next video.